Hey guys, I'm FatBuddyCat, and this is my new Coleman mini bike. Today, we're going to be modifying the headlight so that we can power it with an 18-volt battery pack and turn it off and on with a switch. I have a few things that I think I'm going to need. I really don't know yet for sure until I figure out what that little black box is doing. I have the stock charging coils right here. These with the factory flywheel would have been putting out a choppy 12-volt current. I have a converter. This will get us from our 18 volts. This one does 8 to 40 and converts it to 12. So we'll have the same output as the engine before the headlight. But I gotta know if that black box is really needed or not. If it is, then I have to incorporate it with the installation. The only way I'm going to figure that out is to take these wires apart and see what goes where. There's going to be 2 from the kill switch, 2 from the back of the headlight. There should be 2 going in and 2 coming out of that box. I took off the other side plate so that I could hold that nut while I loosen the bolt that held our little black box, and also unplugged from the ground. We'll pull this sleeve thing here back. We have 2 connections. One of these is going to the headlight, one's going to the kill switch. They're kind of twisted around things. I'm going to unplug them one at a time and pull the wires around so that I have everything on this one side of the mini bike. I know what this is. This is a rectifier. Because the original 12-volt current was dependent on RPM, then it would have fluctuated on its output. This thing kind of holds on to it and releases it so that the output is more constant. That way you can better power the headlight. Well, we found out that that really wasn't working too well for it. Every time the RPM dropped, the headlight really dropped, and then it would flicker. The easiest way to deal with this is going to be to get rid of it altogether. Mainline the kill switch and then run our new system with our constant 12-volt current straight to the headlight. I'm grabbing a few of these plugs that are on this main harness. That way I can make everything plug and play when I'm all done. I have to extend the wire that comes from the kill switch down to the other end that goes to the coil and the ground. Right now I have 2 males and they can't mate up. You need a male and a female. That might not be enough extension, but it'll at least swap the hardware so we can get the job done. I'm also ganking the one that went from that rectifier thing to the headlight. It's already set up with the black to the ground and the red to the blue, which is the positive. That'll be easy to wire up to our converter. Black and yellow are the output, red and black are the input. Pretty easy to follow here. I'm gonna have to figure out the lengths on some of these things. Let's see what I got for wire. I'll start with this kill switch and get that out of the way. I'm using heat shrink tubing and a grill igniter to attach all my wires. I'm doing them separately, and then I'll come back over the two of them. It's going to be snug with the green, just like I did over there. Green for ground, whatever. I didn't have any black, so here's what it is. Yep, that checks out. Now, onto the headlight. I attach that other plug straight to the 12-volt converter on the output side. Yellow goes to red, black goes to black. This will go directly to the headlight. It'll put the black wire with the green wire and the red wire with the blue. Yeah, buddy. Now, I'm going to mark this up right where that little black box was. I went with a slightly longer bolt and added a rubber washer in between the converter and the tab that it mounts on for anti-vibration purposes. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put the switch right next to this other one. Pretty boss. I'm definitely going to have to extend the wire. It's going to have to go down through and then up to the power source, which I'm going to mount directly in front of the seat. I have the power source up on the seat. That'll be close enough for now. Instead of cutting and extending the switch wire itself, I'm adding a plug. Got plenty of wire connected to it. This is going to intercept the positive wire coming off the battery. That'll allow us to open and close the circuit. It's really, really simple once you see it in place. This is obviously very temporary, but it should really send it home. I have one of the red wires from the switch hooked directly up to the positive lead going back to the battery. I have the other red wire from the switch hooked up to the red or positive wire on the input side of the 12-volt converter. I then have the black wire on the converter hooked up to the negative lead directly back to the battery. The switch is only intercepting the positive side. Off, on, off, and on. No flickering, Nice and bright. I lopped off about a foot of my positive lead, and then I wired in an inline fuse. Now, I'm going to add a plug for the input side of the 12 volt converter. So, something for that black and red wire there. Once I was sure that everything had a plug, I double checked my lengths and then went over it with a quick layer of electrical tape. I also separated the harness from the power source. I got the silver box back in its new home. Everything's tight. I'm just going over the wires with a few zip ties to get everything squared away. I get the side plate on. And then the last thing we're going to have to do is find a safe place to put our 18 volt battery. This is the Coleman Mad Dog motorcycle tank bag. It's not made for the RSV 200 or even a mini bike at all, but we're going to make it work anyway. It has plenty of room inside for our power source and probably a few other things. It's got this nifty little hole in it already. That's so that you can feed a wire from the outside in or the inside out. We're going to need that for our plugs. This thing's designed to set on top of a tank. It's got a series of magnets in it that are supposed to hold it there. That is not going to work for this application. I'm going to have to be a little bit creative there. Let me get the wires connected and then we'll figure out the rest. I used a piece of this plastic flex conduit to clean up the wires going into the tank bag. I'm going to keep it real utility-like and attach old Mad Dog here to the frame using 3 mini bungees. It's got a handle in the rear and this loop in the front with a D-hook. I'll attach one bungee to that hook and then I'll wrap it around the neck. Out back, I'll get one on each side of the handle pulling it down. That worked perfectly. Wrapped it around a few times just to make sure everything was good and tight. It's not going anywhere. Open it up. Spare bungee. Got a toolkit. Pair of gloves. You still got room for a turkey sandwich. Probably a bag of chips, too. That's not too shabby. We have a good running engine and a working headlight. Now, I just got to do something about these V-treads. And I think I have just the thing. Booyah. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you on the next one.
I want you to stay.